South Africa is continuing its fight for the Palestinian people. It has returned to the International Court of Justice seeking to halt a planned major military offensive by Israel on the southern Gazan city of Rafah, where over 1 million Palestinians have sought shelter. Rafah is close to the Egyptian border. South Africa wants the court to quickly determine whether the plan announced by Israel to strike more targets in Rafah amounts to breaches of the UN Genocide Convention and orders issued by the ICJ last month.
We condemn the killing of civilians on all sides and call on all parties involved in the conflict to commit to a peace process that will deliver a two-state solution as resolved by the United Nations.
South Africa is sticking to international law, and it has gone to the ICJ to say, come on, you need to tell us what we can do further to stop what is definitely going to be the final phase of the genocide, and that is through this incursion in Rafah.
Israel has insisted it has the right to defend itself against Palestinian group Hamas after an October attack in which over 1,000 Israelis were killed or taken hostage. It launched a military offensive in Gaza weeks after the attack, first concentrating on the northern part of the Strip before venturing into central and southern Gaza. The continued offensive has forced over 1 million Palestinians to flee to Rafah.
If you're telling people of over 1 million to now move for an imminent attack or an imminent operation from the Israeli Defense Force, without really giving them options of what is available for them in terms of humanitarian corridors and the like, you're really creating an impossible situation on the ground.
Israel can only be stopped once the ICJ puts out this ruling for which South Africa is requesting. And it can then request that military intervention. One of the rulings that the ICJ can make is for military intervention that is coordinated through the UN to stop Israel. But again, if it has to go through the UN Security Council, then there is the possibility that the US will veto it.
Meanwhile, the United States is trying to broker a deal to end the fighting.
You're stuck with a scenario where not only from the Israeli side, in terms of a 6-week pause, but you also have to question what incentive structure does Hamas actually have, to release hostages in exchange for a 6-week period, when they already know that there is an Israeli government that is determined, in its own words, to essentially eliminate Hamas.
United Nations officials have warned of catastrophic consequences should Israel press on with an assault on Rafah. Mounting pressure on Egypt to open up its borders to fleeing civilians has so far yielded no results. The borders remain shut, leaving Palestinians with no options but to face the full might of a possible ground invasion, amplifying the urgency for a swift resolution to this humanitarian crisis. Julie Shara, CGTN, Cape Town.